Hello, my name is Cheyenne Schwinn, and I am a student here at Full Sail University in the game design program. Um, we are in month 8, sprint 2. This month is April, and we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So, as I said, this is April, month 8, with Jared Merritt, which was my instructor for this month. I am an online remote student from Illinois. My work hours, total work hours completed for this sprint is over 50 hours. My total completed for this month was 105 hours and 35 minutes with the added on few things that I did today. And my monthly expected hours is 100. So my achievements this sprint was that I was able to finish the narrative, and I was finished editing it by week 1, I think it was. Or, sorry, out of the sprint week 1. Week 3 for the whole month. And then I went ahead and planned out most of the new cutscene and created an idea to better show the liveliness of the new scenes, which has been used in older times and older animation times of Disney. If you ever saw any of them, like watching the storyboarders and everything, and how their animation worked back then with all the little post-it notes and everything on the wall. It's very interesting. Definitely check it out if you're interested in art and storyboarding and things like that. My objectives were that I was to complete the narrative work and edit it as well, which I was able to do. Work on controls graphic and try to get it to the end of the sprint in sprint 2 finished. That did not happen fully. I did complete it, but I still have to do some editing on it. So my next objective was to try to do some item texturing and learn how to pull an item from Unreal and texture it with Substance Painter. I was unable to do that this sprint because I was having Unreal issues. Again, I was having errors, and that was out of my control, and we will get to that in a second. I started planning for a level change scene, which would be between the first level and the main game, just like I did the intro scene for the intro to the tutorial level and the start of the game. And then fixed Unreal issue was out, which I was unable to do because I just found out that it was an issue yesterday. I think it was a few days ago at the most, but I went ahead and I talked to the producer and some other people, and they said that there's actually some issues with corrupted files, and that's why I was unable to do anything. I still have yet to check my laptop to see if that has fixed it, so I'll be adding on a few minutes to my hours for this month after looking up whatever's going on with my laptop to see if maybe it's actually just me. It did not work on my PC, so I was wondering if it's going to work on the laptop or not. I had to re-download Git. We'll get into that later. So then there wasn't actually any major issues. I was able to do work this month still. I plan to try working on learning more skills and practicing my new skills, which I really enjoyed using, like Blender and things like that. So I really want to try to get into that more, but I'm doing what I can right now with my limited tools because a lot of my stuff just loves to break on me. And then the minor issues with the things that I couldn't control because it was a project-wide issue with corrupted files. So those are the issues that happened this sprint. So here we got week 3's work. I did narrative editing. I finalized the narrative that was written and edited. So I just made up a bunch of little lines. They are multi-use. They can be used for environmental environmental words. If we get voice acting in there, that's probably going to be later on, or if we just use dialogue boxes, they're multi-use. So you can use them with real voices, you can use them in text boxes, you can use them as passerby, an environmental sound to fill in quiet spaces, depending on how far we end up getting people to be able to do voice acting if that comes to the project in a later date. And then here we have the open world narrative that was edited. Um, so what you see here, I took some of them and I switched them around, added things, or took them out in all. So again, these can be multi-used as well. Open world narrative means that it could be used anywhere. It doesn't need to be used in a certain area. So you could be talking to one of your team. You could be talking to maybe just a regular citizen in the town or something, or wherever you're at. You could be talking to someone that's just walking by, or you could be overhearing AI talking to each other. That's what the open world narrative is. Um, so again, more of these. I put in some lines to be specifically for the oil rig, because of it being out on sea. It's going to be different than people talking in just like a town, or talking to each other on a boat, because out there there's certain things you're far away from land, or you went through training. If you walk past someone that's sitting at a post or something, they'd say something like the first one there on the second picture: wet and cold, great way to spend all my hours of hardcore training out here in a water wasteland. So that's just little things that I created for later use. As I said, multi-use for interacting with NPCs, passerby voice lines, or lines spoken to the player from an NPC. Could even be used through dialog boxes. And then now we're moving on to the controls. I was making this in Illustrator. I created keys for the keyboard graphic, which I was going to do a keyboard and then a ledger under it. So I created the common shapes of keyboard: WASD, shift bar, space bar, mouse, and I used that as base keys to help me create other keys. So I'd copy paste each of these keys. So then I have the lettering that started to be added to them. I created the labels for each ones. I still had to do some more labeling, like creating the rest of these square keys on the keyboard, like all the letter keys. I had to create the shift key still, and then label the left and right mouse button. So then I went ahead and I created the rest of the letter keys, which are those little squares up there, and those were how many keys we have actually connected to a control. So then I went ahead and I finished the lettering on all the keys. I took all the letters that are connected to something after getting the controls from the project lead. I went ahead and took those controls and I put them into here, and I started adding the keys to the ledger and making a keyboard layout, which would be showing the keys that actually have something attached to them that you can use. So I started doing this as a full keyboard layout, and this is what would be on the controls, on the little control thing there, when you open it and you look for the controls in the menu. So then I finished the keyboard layout and started adding keys and controls to the ledgers. All I did was take the keyboard letters, copied them, and then pasted them in a different layer, and then put it in the ledger. So there's two different ones. The ledger shows what key on the keyboard layout does. So whatever key is next to that word, that's what the keyboard layout does. So someone can look down, WASD, they can see that down there move is WASD. So when they press WASD, it moves. When you press E, it moves, and it shows you sort of in that keyboard layout where it is. Because you never know if someone actually doesn't play keyboard video games. Maybe they only play with a gamepad controller like this one that has, A, B, X, and Y, and then other things. So keyboard layout. Moving on to finishing the ledger. When I finished the keyboard layout and the key controls, I put them all together on the ledger, and I used the keyboard layout to copy and paste, as I said before, the keys to the ledger. Since the keyboard layout was actually cut by the team, they said that we can just use the ledger, and I was like, alright, that's fine, cool. But as long as I had the keys, that was what was important, so people actually knew what they were clicking on. So I'm glad I was able to use the keys that I made for the keyboard layout anyway for something, instead of just doing it for no reason. And then the idea that came up was that the controls would be added to the journal, which is the UI that they have been using. This is just a flat image. I have yet to do any more texturing or adding anything. I'm going to be adding texture and shadows to try to make it pop more and feel more realistic, and I'm also going to be changing the tabs up there to be just a single tab. That's going to be next sprint. I was unable to do that this sprint because I was busy doing everything else. They want me to make a singular tab to be able to be added onto the journal asset wherever they need, however many sheets they need, because I asked them if they could do that, and then they said that yes, they can do that, and have it like that instead of having the pre-made tabs. So this is not going to be a exact of what it's going to look like. This is basically just flat layout. Its only purpose is to show what it's going to look like to have that background on the keys. So I'm trying to pair the keys with the background, which there seems to be a little bit of harshness trying to read the black lettering on the gray keys, so I was asked to lighten them up, and I will see what I can do there. Maybe a few more shades lighter on the gray, or if I maybe have a different color text. I'm going to make a few different ones and ask the team for feedback to see what they think is best. Alright, so then we are moving on to this week, week 4. I was looking into GitHub on my PC. This was for my PC, and when I fetched everything that was new, because I was very behind, it took me a little while to grab some of that and get it into my PC. So I had to pull everything from there to try to find the chest that I was going to practice texturing on. But when I went into my Unreal Engine, it gave me another error, and this is the error because of the corrupted files that I learned about when I talked to my team today. So then I had this testing level map error, and because of this error I was unable to actually open or get anything from the project. As you can see, all the files are gone. I opened multiple files, couldn't find anything. It was just all empty. So I went ahead and posted to the team Discord for feedback, and asked if I can download a new version of Git and maybe delete everything and then re-download the game and see if that works, having everything fresh on my PC. They got back to me about that a little bit, not exactly. I still have to get a full-on answer before I delete it and totally mess up everything. But I'll pretty much be able to see that in play on my laptop after I re-download everything, which is what I'm going to be doing in a few minutes. So, the cutscene documents and organization of the cutscene I pulled from my old cutscene files. So I copied all the scenes and files, threw them in there, copied the Photoshop file, threw it in there, so I have all of that for organization when I start making my scenes. I don't know how many scenes I'll have. I am assuming that I'll have probably around 6, 7, because I want to try to do the that frame animation thing where like you see movement but it's not exactly moving, it's just changing a little bit of something, and it makes it look like it's a picture in action. So because I need to do more original work, because of how the game's story is being told, I will be able to do less less photo alterations and more custom work. And there will be added hand-drawn elements to the photos that I use, and the photos will be guides and backgrounds for my stylized scenes that I'm going to be making. And then adding more drawn work to tell the story will bring in that motion that I'm looking for with these scenes instead of having static images. Cutscene note transfer. So in my last meeting, I took some notes down for the cutscene on how the team sort of wanted it to play out, and I made them all neat and threw them from my phone into a Word document on my PC. So I went ahead today and just typed those up from the last meeting. So I had a good start to be able to plan my things here when it comes to the cutscene and the scenes and everything and the photos that I'm going to need for this. So after doing that, I went ahead and I took the notes and I started adding ideas from the meeting and then planned out the layout of the scenes. I'm going to be trying to find different pictures that I can use, like I explained earlier. Do some kind of frame animation of how Disney did their older animations where you have to draw out multiple scenes, but it'll be in a shorter scale, and I'll have less drawn images, but it will feel like it's moving because of those drawn frames. It'll have like a beat to it. Instead of just being a static image and then move on to the next image and then a static image like I had the first one. I want to have that liveliness in there. So since that'll be implying movement, it'll make it feel more alive, and the player will be able to see it in a different light. I wish I would have thought of that earlier and did the first one like that, but that's where I am now. And I just realized that this was incomplete. It was supposed to say it may change later on if there's an issue with timing, or with like the scale of the video that's going to be played, or the timing of the video, because I mean the timing of the video, not the timing of planning. Timing of planning and timing of video is two different things, because sometimes the videos can be too long and people may lose interest real fast. You don't want to do that when you're telling a story. You want to tell the story and get it across quickly but efficiently. So that's what I'm going to be doing and working on with these scenes. So I think that is it. Besides the Unreal Engine errors, I did look into getting a fixed version on my laptop, which I went ahead and I went on my laptop, downloaded GitHub, and hopefully that will be fixed after I check GitHub and see if it worked. So that's all I did on here. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. So I let the team know that I'm having the issues, and I did talk to them after our meeting, and now I'm just going to see if it actually worked on my laptop. I have my laptop over here, that's why I keep pointing that way, sorry. I'm making it a habit right now. So here's my info right here. I got my LinkedIn, my Mastery Journal portfolio, my personal portfolio, my YouTube channel, which has this video on it, as well as my recommended YouTube playlist, which is School Videos and Projects playlist. That is what this video will be on. If you have any questions or concerns or any ideas that you want to throw out at me, throw them down in the comments section, because why not? Thank you for your time today. If you're here just for the YouTube channel and you want to see more video game stuff from me, just subscribe. And then if you're here for school purposes, again, thank you for your time and thank you for looking into my work. I look forward to doing more work in this Capstone project. uh, because I've had the most fun I've ever had in a capstone, not capstone, in a project um, like this. Like, I've had my own personal projects, but this has been really fun and it's been very educational for me because this is things that I had no idea that I can do. I knew I can, do Photoshop stuff and write, but I didn't know that I can pick up a skill like Blender so fast that I would be able to make something like the gun mesh that I was working on earlier, which I hope to be able to do more stuff like that. And I want to learn how to texture and everything. I wish my stuff would stop breaking, because that's the only reason why I'm not doing it, is because my things keep breaking and it's not letting me uh, work with things like that because of whatever issues happen. So again, thank you all for your time. We'll see you in the next episode of whatever I'm making, be it school episodes of my year in this college, or be it episodes of video games that I've been playing just for the YouTube channel alone. So thank you. Definitely check out the projects playlist if you want to see more work that I've done, and also checking out my personal portfolio with all my other stuff. I'm going to be adding a lot of the capstone work that I have been doing to my personal portfolio very soon, because I have done a lot. So, have a great day. Thanks.